Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. That is very important. And it's absolutely important for people of the African descent and diaspora to understand that concept that you are free to live anywhere you choose to. As long as you are not an immigrant, you do not disturb the peace of anybody. If you want to live in Vatican, go there and live. You
And
have the right.
interestingly, on that point too, and it's very, very good that you have developed that point, because on that point too, whereas back to Africa is something that is commendable, on that point too, the point that we have options, there are a lot of people who, because they hold the concept that going back to the African continent is the ideal thing, they look upon those who choose to reside or to live or to have their lives elsewhere. They look upon those people as if you're a traitor, as if you have sold out.
Anyway, you see, that is why I was saying that this particular idea, the back to Africa, is an interesting conversation that we need to have. All right, now let me give you an instance. Then we'll come to Marcus Garvey just now. All right, I come from south of Nigeria. Now, in south of Nigeria, the state that is called Edo State, that is where I'm coming from. Inside Edo State is a small city. We'll call it now Uromi. That is where I'm coming from. Now, Uromi, you go there, you enter my village. My village is Amedokian. Now, this is the story I want to say. Now, we have done a story, a kind of investigation to know where are the people from my village coming from. Okay, then we find out that the people of my village, which are called Amedokian, of course, a part of Amedokian, not the whole of it, a part of it came from another place, which is not Uromi, because you need to get to Uromi before you can get to my village. It came from another town, another small city that is called Obehi. That is where we are coming from. Of course, I'm not going to drag that more, because if I drag it more, we understand that the people of Obehi are coming from another place, which is the people of Benin. That is where all the family of people of Assam are coming from. And this is the story I want to make. Because we are not the original people of Uromi or the Amedokian, if the original people tells us, hey, we are going to leave this land, if that is an idea that was shared by one of the persons that I interviewed here, you are going to return to where you came from. Now, by the time we return to where we came from, we meet that other people are there. Then we tell those people, you are going to return to where you came from. This word is going to be in confusion. So it's never going to happen. Not now, not in 1 million years' time.
Let me share something with you.
Please.
You will notice my name is Goddard, George Goddard.
Yeah.
Goddard is a British name. Now, I carry that name because my grandfather is of European origin. My father's father. My father is of mixed race, right? A black St. Lucian woman and a white Barbadian. That white Barbadian has his origins in Britain. My father did a DNA, and my father's DNA shows that roughly a very large part on his mother's side is Nigerian, and half of it is from Britain, right? And then you have little bits and pieces from North Africa and this place and that place and the other place. So as a human being, so obviously I have not done such a DNA, but obviously if these are the roots of my father's, then obviously it is replicated to some degree in myself as well. So how then, if you now have to go back to where you're from, which bits and pieces of you are going to go back to here, to there, to everywhere? And as you say, in Africa as well, because if you trace one traces his DNA to to the Igbo people or to the Fulani or to this or to that. You will go on tracing over and over again until where are you going to? Because populations have moved, have migrated for thousands of years, if not tens of thousands of years.
Absolutely.
You know?
Thank you for that. You see, it is important, this conversation. We need to awaken it. By the way, because I want us to return to Gavi, otherwise I have all that things to have asked there.
Yes,
but,
yes.
but it's fine. All right, now let's come to the great man, Marcus Garvey. Now, how do you examine his own type of leadership? Because again, I repeat, he's one kind of a person. He was able to do what many people put together couldn't do. Because in your story, the way you explain it, there were other people before him who couldn't manage to organize the people the way that he did. He is a kind of a person. So how do you explain this whole type of leadership?
Marcus was a charismatic leader. Marcus was a mobilizer. Marcus had the ability to make that connection between ideology and practice on the ground. And that is what differentiated him from the people who went before him. That was what allowed him to form organizations like UNIA, to form organizations like the Black Star Line, to go throughout the length and breadth of the Caribbean and to infuse our people with the idea that we can rise up and better our conditions socially and economically, that we can rise up and free ourselves and liberate ourselves. And what is very interesting, he was not only in his element in the Caribbean, he was also able to find his way on the Central American continent, where things would have been a bit different in terms of in terms of the influence of Spanish culture, because here in the Caribbean, he would have moved primarily in countries where you had the influence of British culture, and in some cases French culture, like St. Lucia, right? But in Central America, where you had the influence of Spanish culture, in the United States, where you had the influence of a broad range of cultures. So Marcus was able to translate and to make that connectivity among people. And that is where he differentiated himself from the people who were, for want of a better word, more cerebral, more ideological. Now, that is not to say that Marcus was not ideological. He was ideological, because you need a clear ideology to underpin where you're going. But he was able to make that connection between the ideology and the praxis.
All right. When I think of Marcus Garvey, there is something that always strikes me. Of course, I've read the book, the biography. I think that was put together by the wife, Emmy Garvey. That was really eye-opening. It was powerful. Now, the word that I really like to pick out is organization. This is it. Everything is already in this word. Everything that we want is already in this word. Okay, now we are talking, we pick up a book. The book is nothing more than A, B, C, D until the end of the alphabet, which is Z. Now, somebody have organized it. You put A instead of B, you go and add another word to another word. You organize it. You basically reorganize it. You did not invent the alphabet. The alphabet were already there. Now, what does it mean? In Africa, for example, Africa is the most blessed piece of land anywhere in the world. Everything you need is there. But there is something that is missing, the organization. For this reason, the people of Africa are condemned to suffering for eternity until one day they know how to organize themselves. Organization